this has got your goat a bit, Darren Ambrose, hasn't it? You think that David Beckham is being disrespected by Gabby?
I think David Beckham is massively underrated, in my opinion. I think he is disrespected by a lot of people as well. This is a guy who's won, 6 Premier League titles, went to the Galacticos when they were really the Galacticos and didn't look out of place, actually was one of their better players as well. 115 England caps, England international captain. The goal against Greece single-handedly took him to a tournament. If I'm picking an England all-time team in my generation, David Beckham gets on the right-hand side all day, every day.
Yeah. For what reason?
I just think he's the best. One of the best players we've had in terms of delivery, set plays. One of the best captains we've had as an England national. I heard Darren Bent on Drive as well saying about Salah. He'd pick Salah over David Beckham. I mean, they're totally different players, and I know Bentley said that as well. If I'm picking a 4-3-3, yes, I'm going Mohamed Salah, of course. If I'm picking a 4-4-2, David Beckham gets ahead of Salah easily. His delivery is second to none. He didn't need pace. He needed half a yard, and he would whip that ball in. And he played with Ronaldo, the original R9 at Real Madrid. The deliveries, the assists he gave. There was one assist I watched the other day to Zidane. He played the 70-yard crossfield pass to Zidane, who hit it on the left foot volley. Absolutely incredible, and I think he's massively disrespected. And listen, Saka is on the upward trajectory, easy for me to say, and he's on the way to becoming a world-class footballer. He's only 21, I think, and I think you can't put him ahead of David Beckham as we speak, in my opinion. I just think that's foolish from Gabby.
Foolish. There you go. Fighting sort.
That's an Arsenal supporter talking there.
Well, yeah, and he admits, doesn't he, that he has a soft spot for Arsenal. I guess also Bukayo Saka, if you spoke to him personally, and there was that clip, wasn't there, when he met David Beckham at the World Cup, and he turned into a fanboy. I don't think he would want the pressure of being compared to his idol. What I would say, as a Manchester United fan, and this hasn't always gone down well, if I was picking a Manchester United 11 from the Premier League era, I'm not convinced that Beckham will be in it. I think if we're playing that 4-4-2 that you talk about, Ronaldo would be my choice, wide on the right.
I mean, Ronaldo's Ronaldo. He's one of, if not the best players in the world. That's debatable to ever live. But this is a man in David Beckham. He's the first Englishman to win league titles in 4 different countries. I know
he picked his clubs, though, didn't he?
One of those.
He didn't win a league title. He didn't win a league title at Lille.
He was a revelation in the MLS in turning American soccer into what it is today. He's the first England player to score at 3 FIFA World Cups. First British footballer to play in 100 UEFA Champions League games. Most free kicks still scored in the Premier League. That will be surpassed by James Ward-Prowse. I'm sure you'll all agree with that. And most free kicks to be scored in a single season in 5, again, probably will be surpassed by James Ward-Prowse eventually. For me, he's underrated, and we'll get messages coming in saying he was a one-trick pony, only had the delivery. Absolutely brilliant. You listen to Gary Neville and talk about David Beckham. There's no comparison. And even in the Manchester United, I'm not a United supporter. Ronaldo, of course, is a better player in the long run. But what have they done for Manchester United? I'd still have Beckham.
And do you think part of the reason, to use your words, that David Beckham gets disrespected is because he was part of that England golden generation, in inverted commas, that underachieved? The fact that he didn't fulfil his potential on the world stage, despite the fact you said he scored at 3 World Cup finals, he didn't win a trophy, didn't come close to winning a trophy for his country. Is that part of the reason why people maybe look to shoot down his achievement?
Yeah, of course it is. Yes, he didn't obviously win anything for England, won almost everything in terms of club football, but yeah, and what he does off the field in terms of his global brand, of course, I think that gets people up as well. I mean, for me, I really enjoyed watching David Beckham, and I heard Gabby this morning saying people question, I had 4 league titles by the time he was 24, 6 league titles, whatever it was, by the time he was 24. but trophies don't mean everything. Well, tell the Harry Kane haters that, who says that he's not world class because he hasn't won a trophy yet. I mean, you can't have one argument for one and a different argument for the other. David Beckham is one of the best English players to ever live, in my opinion. And
you could argue it's easy for Gabby to say trophies mean nothing as someone who only ever won Premier League Player of the Month. Michael, the Liverpool fan, has texted 81089. He says Saka could not have done what Beckham did in the Greece game. Of course, that iconic free kick into the top corner that took England to a World Cup. Lots of people getting in touch on the back of our chat with the animal rights activist here in the studio. Someone suggesting he hopes he gets arrested on his way out of the news building. I can tell you that hasn't happened. You wanted to talk Newcastle, didn't you, as well, Darren, and what they could possibly achieve, not just this season, but in the coming years, because you've said on this station, within 5 years, Newcastle will win a trophy. I think you're resetting your sights, aren't you? You're bringing that deadline forward.
I am, yes. I said this at the start of this season. I said, with what's going on, Eddie Howe and how he turned their season around, how he turned them around, and the new ownership, whatever goes on politically, what they've brought to the football club. I said within 5 years they could win a trophy. I think it's been a year since I said that. I'm going within 3, so another 2 years I can see them having a trophy. May not be the biggest trophy. This season the League Cup wouldn't have been a huge trophy to win. It would have been for Newcastle. I think since he's arrived at the football club, Eddie Howe, I think they are 5th in the league since his arrival. That's ahead of Manchester United, ahead
they hadn't
of Chelsea.
Won a game when he took over.
Exactly. They hadn't won a game. They were on 1 point, I believe. Ahead of Chelsea, ahead of Manchester United, puts them in 5th, with City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Tottenham ahead of those. Not by much. It gives 100 points he's taken since he's arrived at the club. I can see with the spending power that they have, obviously they won't break no rules, of course, but with the spending power they have, if they get to the Champions League, which is looking likely this season, who they can attract will be incredible. Eddie Howe will get it right. He'll get the right people in. I can see them winning a trophy within the next 2 years and competing for the Premier League title in many years to come.